All right, so we are rocking and rolling. Let me set this to present, and we are gonna get started. Awesome. So as I was saying, my name is Kyshana Guzman, and just a little bit about me, just so that you can learn and we can kind of learn and grow together. I am, of course, a Miami YPN Pro member. I also am the Women's Council of Realtors Broward president, and I also have the privilege of serving in a nonprofit board that gives back to women in need by the name of Spark Her Change. All of these things I'm excited to be a part of. All of these things I'm super passionate about. I'm a mom of twin teenagers that are 13 going on 18. And so the morning miracle for me has been just a game changer. And the reason why is because it makes my days longer. It allows me to have more time in my day so that I can be more productive and be extremely suitable to do more within the 24 hours that we have, because we all have the same time. It's just how we use it, right? I want to take an opportunity to encourage you to go ahead and take a picture of what it is that we're doing. As real estate professionals within our craft, it's important that you tell other people that you're learning to be better, that you are taking the time to pour back into your business. And so take a picture of you in front of the computer, tag Miami YPN, tag me, Kyshana Guzman, on Instagram, and just tag all of the social media platforms for Miami Realtors and YPN, so that you can share with those that are following you, hey, you know what? I'm the realtor that you need to be taking part in doing business with, because I'm growing and I am pouring back my business. So that's a huge, huge deal. I want to take this time to kind of share some of the things that I've taken from this book. All things will be in part from a book called Miracle Morning. And with this book, what I learned and what I took away is a simple principle called habit stacking. This quote that I'm sharing with you now on my screen, it says, every day that you and I wake up, we face the universal challenge. And it's the challenge to overcome mediocrity or to live to our full potential. What does that even mean? What is your full potential? I want you to take a few seconds, and I hope that you're taking notes. And I want you to write down some of the things that you kind of think about when you think about your full potential. I know we all have either vision boards or things that we aspire to do, or maybe things that are in the back of your mind. That's important for you to keep some of those things in front of you as we're going through your morning miracle, because it's something that is going to inspire you to grow and to do better, right? It's your why. We all hear about our why. So let's take a moment. I know we've all kind of come from different things. Maybe you had meetings and you scheduled this, or you came from the previous talk. Let's take a moment to breathe in, breathe out. Reset our minds. Go ahead and put your phones on vibrate. Make sure that you take the next 10 minutes to lean into this habit stacking ritual, because I firmly believe that this is a game changer for you. Okay? Now, a little bit about the writer of this book. Now, this book you can definitely get on Amazon, on Audible. His name is Hal Elrod, and I'm sure some of you may have heard of him before. He is a gentleman that underwent an incredibly critical accident. He was left for dead for 6 minutes. And that he went from that to being able to be this worldwide speaker and someone's book writer, just incredibly wise man. And he used this tactic to climb out of an incredible amount of debt that he had as well. And there's other people, as you start to look into this, that have done the same. There is someone by the name of Pat Flint that you may have heard about, that used it to not waste his willpower on unimportant decisions, but instead focus on making an incredible over $140,000 a month. So if you think about it, a month, if you think about that for a minute, it took these individuals, and that's just two of many, from something that was absolutely zero to something that was absolutely legacy building, right? However you decide to use it, don't get overwhelmed by it. The only thing is that I ask is, out of these 6 principles that we're sharing today, at least you take one that is a nugget that you start on tomorrow. So here we go. Point number 1 in habit stacking is we're going to talk about this word savers, right? And the word savers is an acronym, and it's going to come up with the habits, the 6 habits that we're talking about again. Again, habit stacking is just doing a series of habits ritually back to back, and it could be over the period of an hour, over a period of 30 minutes, but just to the point that you're able to do them continuously and ritually until you get into the habit of doing them. So the first one is S for silence. Now, I don't know about any of y'all, but as soon as I wake up, I hear the dog barking. I have my phone, I have the kids, I have a number of things that are happening in my world, right? So the S is for silence. Now, take the time to think about what that would look like in the morning for you. If when you open your eyes, you're in a spirit of gratitude and you are just thanking God for your existence and you're just having a moment of stillness, okay? Now, in the book, there's also a mention about having water next to you. So as soon as you wake up, that's the first thing that you're going for is water, hydration, and then going into silence, okay? Now that's the first one. Now you're thinking, silence, this is crazy. There's so many things that happen in my world in the morning. I want you to think about the pluses that you can do and to remove the negatives. So make sure that as you're going through this, add the positives and write down the things that inspire you immediately so that you can do those for a few minutes. So thinking about silence, maybe you're like, I can't see myself sitting in silence for 5 minutes. You know, for me, it's hard for even a minute at this point. So if it's a minute that you're doing it for tomorrow, set your time, set your watch, and you're doing it for this period of time. And that's the beginning of your habit stacking. So that's silence. The second point is A for affirmations. Now, I know many of us have heard this word before. This word can kind of lead us to thinking about, like an emotional stillness, things that we aspire to do. And basically, it's just a form of affirming what you already are bringing into your future, right? So I want, when you're thinking about this word savers and you're thinking about silence and you get to affirmations, under affirmations, I want those affirmations for you to start with the word I am. So as you're writing them out, I want to take the time now for you these next few seconds to write out 3 affirmations. So what you're thinking about for the future is, I am an incredible listener. You're affirming that you are. I am a wonderful realtor. I am the top realtor in Coral Springs. I am in love with running. That's what I have to tell myself every morning so I can get up to run. I am, and start thinking about all of your affirmations, but make sure that they start with I am. And as you are saying these things, it's important that you're breathing in between and that you're believing it, right? Because you are the person that is speaking this into your mind. What you tell yourself, what you tell your mind, what you tell your heart, these are the things that you start to believe. So you're starting your morning with silence. Whatever comes to your mind, accept that and be mindful. And then you're going into affirmations. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I said to write down 3. If you couldn't come up with 3, it's okay. 1 is enough, but just make sure that tomorrow morning you have it on your list so you could start with that affirmation. I am bold. That's what it takes. Now we move on to habit stacking, letter number 3, which is V for visualization. So you had your silence, you went to your affirmations, and now you're at V for visualizing. So this is one that I like to take some time with, just because, I don't know about you guys, I'm sure we're all the same in this. when you take a moment to sit in stillness, you got 20 million things that you're thinking about. Sometimes your to-do list from yesterday, sometimes something you forgot to do, sometimes you're thinking about something, a conversation you had 2 weeks ago that now all of a sudden you're creating a to-do list for. All of these things are important for you to recognize. And as you're going through, just try to focus on what it is that the letter that you're on. So this for visualization, it may be that you are, one of your top goals is to get a new car. So if that's what you're visualizing, make sure that you take the time to every day go back to that, right? Because we all know what you focus on expands. So if it's that goal of getting the new car, all of the things that you are surrounding yourself with are going to bring that car into fruition, right? So it's doing your goals, making sure that you're in silence, doing your affirmations. I am that brand new car owner, or whatever that looks like. So now you get to visualization. Maybe you're a drawer, maybe you're an artist, and you want to write that out and keep that in front of you. So make sure, point number 3, visualization. Think about what you're going to be visualizing in this time. Well, not in this time, but in your earlier time for tomorrow morning. So we're to number 4 now, which is E for exercise. So when you're thinking about exercise, now I know this word makes a lot of people cringe and crazy because it's just not something that is in your everyday, right? But hey, we're learning, we're kind of moving into a new us, right? And we're habit stacking for your morning miracles. So it's important that you are implementing this too. Now, I always tend to say, don't get overwhelmed. Listen, we all fall off, right? You have to learn to have grace for yourself. And you have to understand that we're all imperfect in this, but in some way, shape, or form, make sure that you are doing some sort of body movement, right? You're building a sweat. If dancing is your thing, you're getting hyped dancing. If you are a yoga person, maybe you want to Google, or you want to try yoga, maybe you want to Google, or hit YouTube for a yoga practice, maybe that you can implement tomorrow morning. Make sure that you take the time that you are doing something that you like and doing something that you are excited to do in that form of exercise, especially if this is something that is new for you. So we have, mind, body, soul. We're working on that every single day within these points. So it's important that you do something that you enjoy. So take the time now to write out whatever that exercise is going to be for the morning, tomorrow morning, whether it's a walk, it's a run, it's yoga, whatever it is. And make sure that you are able to implement it. And again, I want to take the time now to say that all of these things may be happening, and maybe 2 of them are happening at the same time. Maybe you have your silent time, and maybe you're doing your affirmations as you're exercising, or maybe you're visualizing as you're exercising. It's okay, but the point is to do them consistently. So that's exercise. Silence, affirmation, we went to visualization, now with exercise. Now we're getting to R, and feel free to drop any comments or questions that you may be having, any thoughts that you're having with what we're going through into the chat, and we can review it shortly. Now, R is for, Okay, guys, so R is for reading. Now, when you're thinking about reading, I want you to think about what is it that you're taking in, okay? What book are you ready to, what book are you reading now? Is it Audible? Is it that you're actually sitting down and reading a hard copy? Some people like to read hard copy because they like to highlight, they like to write notes on the side. That's me, I'm a hard copy girl. And, some people like to read Audible because you're exercising, which is fine. Just make sure that you are taking something in. This tends to be, out of the people that practice this habit stacking ritually, tends to be something that people are really saying that it takes the longest within their morning. So some people like to attack this first once they start to do it consistently. Just make sure that whatever it is, you're able to really take it in and digest what it is that you are reading, because otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose. If you got a couple of things going on with your mind and you're not taking it in, you want to make sure to be able to process it so that you can apply, right? So that we can grow from it. Now, what are some books that you guys are reading now? Share in the chat, share in the comments so that we can go through them. Take some nuggets. We've gone through all of our letters for savers, right? We've gone through our silent time. We've done our affirmations. We've gone into V for visualization. We've gone into our exercise routine. We have read some good stuff. And then now we're on to S, which is scribing. This is one of my favorites. And the reason why, and it's really, when you think scribing, you're thinking writing or journaling, it's because it allows for a time of reflection. Usually when you're writing, you have to think about what it is that you are getting ready to throw down, right? So if it's whatever it is that you're writing through, so think about it from the standpoint of what is it that's on my mind right now that I need to dump? What is it that I need to flush out, right? And sometimes it could just be that you were just not a writer. It's not your jam. Having a notebook in front of you and writing out something to yourself is really not a practice that you like to have. And that's okay, right? But we have to start somewhere. The beautiful thing about journaling is that it allows you to go back and see that some of the things that you thought were a big deal are really not that big of a deal now in your season. Or maybe what you are able to see is really just your growth overall, you know, the way that you were able to get from point A to point C in a faster amount of time. It's a great time to reflect on those goals that you set. So journaling in the morning, after you've done your exercise, after you've done your reading, your silence, your affirmations, it's a beautiful thing. Even if you choose to do it before, it's a beautiful thing because it could even be a list of things for goal setting, right? What does your day look like? Maybe it's writing out your day and writing how you feel about this day. Are you excited because you're jumping into a pro talk or going to a YPN event, or you communicated with someone, or maybe you got a new buyer, or you got a great listing, whatever that looks like in your life. We have so many things that are going on every single day. And sometimes we just don't have the time scheduled to stop and think. And we may make even silly mistakes because of it, right? Because you just didn't think, or you just didn't plan it out well. This is a great time to be able to reflect on what it is that you're going to be doing for the day, maybe for the month, or even just something that you took in yesterday that you got to process. And in the morning, when your mind is fresh and you're at a great space, that you're able to actually write out how you're going to implement for the future. So great thing for journaling. Think about small questions. Maybe think about a feeling or an emotion so that you can implement that. Think about what is it that's inspiring you now. Think about what is it that you read yesterday. Just make sure that you set a goal to start journaling. And the reason why is because what you don't put a goal to doesn't happen, right? If you don't have it as in your forefront to say, hey, this is what I'm going to start to focus on, it'll just be a dream and it just won't come to fruition, right? So just give yourself a goal of maybe, I'm going to do half a page tomorrow, or I'm going to write out 2 sentences, or maybe it's just even thinking about what emotion you're feeling in the moment and writing that. There were days where I was going through a rough season that I would just write out the actual emotion that I was feeling, and that's okay. And so as I reflected back after 2 weeks, I was still upset. Even though I was going on with life, I was still upset. And so that kind of snapped me out and said, man, you've been upset about this for 2 weeks. It is not that serious. It is not that serious. And it kind of brings you back to an awakening. So I want to go ahead and take the time to share in the chat, if you guys can share any ahas that you may have had as we're going back through savers, making sure that you're remembering silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and your scribing, your journaling. And I really just hope that you were able to take something amazing out of this and apply it effective tomorrow so that you can, hit me up. This is my contact information. I'd love to see how and hear about how it impacted you for the future. So take the time now, any ahas, anything that you want to chat about, anything that hits you that you feel is like something that you want to implement in the future. Oh, I see some people wrote some books that they have or that they are reading. The Boss Life, yes. By the way, Women's Council, we're having an ebook club, and that starts today with The Boss Life. That's a great book. Never Split the Difference. No, great question. They don't have to be. So the question was, do they have to be in this order? No, they do not. They do not have to be in this order. However it is that you are able to implement them and use them as a takeaway, I think that's so important. And definitely share it with others, man. What you focus on expands. Share it with others and make sure that you are bringing other people along in this journey with you. Real estate is definitely something that many of us are passionate about, but it's not easy. It's definitely worth it. But sharing in community and the journey with others is so, so important. It makes us all better.
Kyshana, there was a question about cell phone use. We all know they're a big distraction for most in the morning and all day, for me, for that matter. Yes. What's your advice to avoid it? Mine is I throw my phone across the room and I make sure that I don't have it within arm's reach.
So I am a big time blocker. I believe in time blocking incredibly. So it's taken me through many, many great journeys. And what that is, just in case anybody's wondering, is just blocking out the time in your schedule and making sure, you know, that you live by the principle, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist, right? So if you know that you have, you know, an hour this morning because you woke up late to get dressed and to take a shower and do everything and go through all these practices, make sure that you just allocate, maybe it's 20 minutes. So now instead, before, you don't do it for an hour of your time, you do it for 20 minutes. And the cell phone has to be on either silence or, you know, removing the alerts, or maybe it's just not near you. Sometimes when I'm trying to focus on something in my calendar, whether it's, you know, hitting the phones or calling back clients or whatever, if it's something that I have to get done, I cannot have the cell phone right near me, or I just have to turn off notifications. You could put it on Do Not Disturb. But I think it's important, after reading this book and focusing on owning your business and looking at your business as a business owner and taking your craft so seriously, which you definitely should be. I think the importance is knowing that this could either make or break you. It could be an incredible distraction, or it could be a huge, you know, a huge blessing to your life, because let's face it, this is our business, right? But we just, in answer to your question, it's just focusing on, let me not pick it up first, you know, because you know that if you roll over and you pick up your cell phone, you may be checking social media, you may be checking your email, seeing if that offer came in for your listing, or maybe seeing, you know, what the response was from the listing agent, you know, or if that buyer ever responded to you about, you know, the inspection period. It's so many things that you want to run off of this thing. And like I said, it could just be a beautiful blessing or an incredible hindrance, you know, to our growth, especially if we're not time blocking and using that time better. So phone, put it on Do Not Disturb, making sure that you are able to, you know, focus on, and it's a practice, right? Like everything else. So try it tomorrow, try it for a little bit, try it for a few minutes. You know, maybe set for 20 minutes or 30 minutes and do each of these things for 5 minutes, even if it's just something small that you bite off. And today, you know, think about too, having grace for yourself, because we are all striving to be better humans and citizens of this world and real estate professionals. But at the end of the day, we're all human and we all make mistakes. So know where you are. And if you're just in a funk that day and you can't get it together, it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. Start tomorrow, start fresh. Just don't give up. Cell phone is Angelia says, cell phone is a great distraction to me. Do you have any schedule for your prospecting calls? So I am I'm a pretty big protector of that time of trying to connect with clients and making sure that I'm getting back to whatever your method is of prospecting. Some people are on social media and they use DMs. I'm big on that, direct messaging, or whether it's your calls or whatever it is. Just make sure that, again, you start small. So if you're somebody that is not doing it at all right now, to go from not doing it at all to implementing it tomorrow for 4 hours is it's a hard bite to chew, right? So maybe it's just doing it after you do your morning miracle. If you're getting up right now at 7, maybe tomorrow it's getting up at 6 so that you can be ready by 7:30, taking an hour and a half to do your gem, and then being in front of the computer and ready to go by 8. And if you're not someone that does your prospecting calls already, then you can do it from 8 to 9 and celebrate your wins. So tomorrow's Friday, you'll be practicing your miracle morning. You'll be doing your calls for an hour. That's huge. It doesn't mean that at 9 o'clock you hit the couch for Netflix. It just means that maybe you have an opportunity to, take some time, 15 minutes. I did this. It's a big deal because you're working on habit stacking, right? So start small. My personal schedule for that is in the morning, though. I have to do it in the morning and get it out of the way. That's why sometimes I don't make as many morning meetings as I'd like. I use Do Not Disturb on my phone from 11 to 8 a.m. or 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. That is great. Lucio, that is amazing. That's a great practice to have. I am trying to get into using Do Not Disturb, but I know some friends that do, and Belinda's one of them, and she rocks it. She rocks it with that. All right. Well, I see your book recommendations. I'm actually going to take a picture of this, and I suggest that you do the same so that you can get some going for you. And if no one has anything else, yeah, it's helped you greatly. I definitely want to try it, Lucio. Definitely want to try it. If no one has anything else, I thank you so much for the opportunity, YPM, and all of your leadership. And you guys are amazing. We love you over at the council, and we're so grateful for you and all that you're doing to impact people like me. So thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's officially 11:30. Amazing job, Kyshana. There's some great takeaways there. We're going to go on an hour break now. So we will reconvene here at 12:30. We're not going to shut down the chat, so you can hang out here if you'd like. But go ahead, get yourself a bite to eat, go over your notes. I'll be here. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And we'll see you in 1 hour. Everybody who's still attending, thank you so much for attending the first ever 20 Under 40 Pro Talks. We're hoping you're getting some great information. And coming up later today, we will be having on this track, Darnell with our 3D tours with Matterport. At 1 o'clock, we'll have Keys to Building a Successful Team. That's with Luis Andrew Ruiz. At 1:30, we'll have Julie Sidorovskaya on. She'll be talking about foreclosures and short sales. And rounding it out at 2 p.m. on this track, Dania Diaz with digital marketing and Facebook ads. I just saw a question in the chat asking if we will be recording these. Yes, we will. And you will be able to find them in 2 places. First, you can go to MiamiRealtorsLive.com, log in like you normally would for the member portal, and the videos will be available there. You can also find us on YouTube. Just search for Miami Association of Realtors, subscribe, and then you will get that information as soon as we upload it onto the web. So with that, enjoy your lunch, and we'll see you back here in 1 hour. Take care, guys.